Everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, and this is not my regular video. This is something I wanted to do. I was at Dollar Tree and I saw you could get this reindeer moss for $1.25, and then outside there were some sticks just laying around. Even though I had these inside, I'm a liar. I didn't go get them outside. And this is a piece of game board that I cut in a generic disc that can support the weight of a small to medium tree and scale to a miniature. So I've made trees tons of times, and everybody makes trees, but I want to see what is the dirt cheapest, best looking tree I can make. So what I'm going to do to get started is I'm going to get a dab of glue here on the bottom of this stick, and I'm going to stick it on here a little off center so that my whole tree kind of stays on the base. And I'm going to let that cool for just a second. Then I'm going to kind of drag down a couple of roots to make this extra sturdy. Okay. Just like that. And I'm going to let that cool a little bit. And with a toothpick, if this was still real hot, you could do it. Or you can do what I'm doing and cool it a little bit. You can just kind of get your stick, the tip of your gun, just drag that around and break those up a little bit. Give them some texture. Just like that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just roll off any glue globs that I don't want. These are in fact going to be British trees. No, I don't think they are. I think there's going to be nondescript regular trees. All right, so from this part we're looking pretty good, right? Let's get some baking soda and some super glue and maybe a couple little stones. Where's my spoon for the baking soda at, though? That's the question of the day. Lost my baking soda spoon. All right, allow me to search my drawer for a spoon. All right, got a spoon. We might want a couple stones on here. One, though, add some weight to counter the weight of the tree. And two, they might look cool on the base. All right. One would do it just fine, I'm sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in here. I'm going to drag this around, trying to intentionally miss those roots and come out to the edge. I'm going to pull that off for now. You don't want to go too thick, but you want to have enough to you have a decent ground cover of sand or dirt or whatever you're going to have there, some aggregates. And I'm just using the glue tip to stir it up. Make sure I have good coverage. I don't want to get too crazy though, because if you have a giant puddle on here, it won't do what you want, I promise. Okay, I have it pretty much covered everywhere I want it to cover. It's very close to the edges. I'm just going to get a little extra piece of stick that I'm not going to be using. Or actually, I have a piece of popsicle stick right here. That'll work just fine too. Or you could use a piece of cardstock or whatever you have. And then we're just going to kind of rough that out to the edges a little better, so it won't roll over the edges, it's coming to the edges. Okay. Just like that. Let's get our rock and put it where we wanted it again, in that general region, something like that, and let's move it around a little bit. All right, so for this part, let's get some of your baking soda. And cover this up. Okay. And just like that, we have a nice looking little Guga. Alright, let's set that off to the side. Now, we could make this into a several part video, but the smart thing to do is instead of spray painting this and making it a lot of work and not be able to use natural tree colors, let's start with our ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a dark brown and a soft brush. I'm going to get a little piece of cardboard as well. I'm going to get a little bit of my dark brown paint. This is burnt umber, and I buy this at Walmart. It's called Apple Barrel. And my paint, I notice, is a little too dry. A little too, it's not going to smoothly go on where I want. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to paint my brown all over this base. I'm not really trying to get it on the rock too much, but if you do, it won't hurt anything. Everything is not all the way dry down here, and that's okay. Okay. That base is just part of a board game. I was at Goodwill today looking at board games. If you look at board games and see if they have a good sturdy thick base in there, half the board games at my Goodwill were $3, and some of them had other parts in them. I didn't purchase any board games today for this purpose because I wasn't happy with the selection, but if you go there every couple weeks or every so often and check it out, you'll get what you want. Okay. Now there's a little bit of white here from where baking soda got up on there. I'm not sure I want to mess with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come around. I'm going to make sure I have paint around my edges so I have a good look on my game board or on my tabletop, and I don't have some just exposed generic cardboard. And then I'm just going to use the rest of the paint that I have wet, shove it on the cracks, and paint that rock brown, even though that rock's not going to be brown. I'm going to be using what I call fantasy realism, and I'm going to use a color called pavement to do that rock in. But first, let's get all the ground here finished. Let's get this lifted up so it doesn't get crap on it. So I just want to make sure everything that can come off here is off. That little bit of white is not making me happy still. But let's not worry about it. It won't hurt you. Or will it? I'm going to get a color called English Ivy Green. I'm just going to get a tiny dab of that and a plastic brush. And I'm going to get some of my dirty paint water and a little bit of that English Ivy Green. I'll make this really damp. And I'm going to paint that horrible white with that. Okay. And I'm going to see if I have any more. I'm going to bring it up here a little bit. I'm going to get a little more water and a little more paint. I'm going to cover up my white spots where the branches have been snipped off with that English Ivy Green. Just cover those right up. Just like that. See? No problem. No problem. Now let's get a medium brown, not medium green. And I'm looking for melted chocolate if I can find it. I know I own a couple of them. I can never seem to find them. What's that color? Melted chocolate. More than ranch they are. So my base is still a little damp. I'm just going to hit that with the air again real quick. Cool. Not perfectly dry, but it's very close. I'm going to get my melted chocolate. I'm going to get a cheap makeup brush from the Dollar Tree. Boop. And I'm just going to get some of that there. I'm going to kind of give this some variation. And I'm just kind of dabbing it around on there to break this up some. There's some spots of the cardboard I didn't cover well. I'm going to come back there and hit those. And I'm going to do something like that. Now it's got some decent variation. Let's get a brush and do that, what's this called? A rock. So with my favorite color in the entire world, pavement, and a piece of dirty cut up towel, I'm going to paint that rock, not hitting the base, of course, pavement gray. Okay. And now I'm pretty happy with that. It's already starting to look like something. I'm going to put my pavement gray away. I'm going to grab a medium gray. This is a medium to light gray, I should say. Because I'm, oh, what is it? Maybe. Yeah, it's a medium to light gray. It's called elephant gray. I'm going to leave it off to the side for just a moment, though. I'm going to dry my rock off. Okay. Then I'm going to get that. I'm going to get a crappy brush, something that I don't love. If I can find something that I don't love. There you are. Here's a brush that's not been well taken care of. And here's my elephant gray. I'm going to get my little piece of cardboard. Some elephant gray. I'm going to rub it all in the brush. And wipe a lot of that off. And let's come back here and touch this rock all over with a little bit of love. There we go. Thanks, rock. Thanks for doing your part, buddy. Okay, and then I'm going to hit just some spots around. Create a little more variation. Something like that. That rock looks really, really pretty. All right, so before we continue on, use any green you want. I think I'm going to use that ivy green I was using. No, I have this arbor. Well, no, I'll use the ivy since I already have it like right here. I'm going to get my ivy green. I'm going to get that brush that I don't like, that I don't treat well and take care of. It's a little bit damp. I'm going to get my ivy green. I'm going to come here. I'm going to get some of that. I'm just going to add a little bit of life to this base. I'm going to hit it on my rock and my ground around there. And then I'm going to kind of touch around the base of the tree a little bit. And now I have this situation. Let's get that reindeer moss opened up and take a look at it. So, look at that. It's fibrous and it looks like it's already ready to be folded without any additional labor and work. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab some of this in a bundle, just like that, okay? Just like that right there. Nothing too more fancy than that. And we're going to come here and we're going to get a glue. I'll get our glue. And we're going to fold this, or not fold this, I'm sorry. We're going to hold this. We're going to get the glue there, just like that, into our wood and pull it around a little bit. And we're going to roll this in like that and let it cool. And we're going to start creating our tree with it. And with a bag this size, you'll be able to make plenty of trees. You know, 3, 4, maybe 5 trees. I don't know. And we're going to get this piece here. We're just going to pull some of these gross bigger parts off. And then we're going to layer that on top of that. So let's get a little bit here like that to hold it. Go right across the top and straight to that branch. Or not branch, but, you know, the sticking up piece, like the trunk. Okay, we're going to pull that down around like that. Let's make sure we're getting spider webs as we go, because we don't want those on our tree. All right, it's looking pretty good. I don't see any glue anywhere. Let's get something down here. So we're just going to pull off some of this. Or get any junk we don't like. I'm going to fold that in half, just like that. And I'm going to get my glue. I'm going to roll it across the top of this branch and onto that little stump where it's cut off, just like that. And I'm going to, with my folded piece, hold it down and let it cool. All right, there we go. Any excess stuff that's loose, just pull it off. And then we have this little piece over here to deal with. So I'm just going to get a clump that's decent size. I don't want one that's too big. There we go. And I'm going to pull this back, get a little bit of glue there, pull it onto the edge of that stump. And I'm going to shove this down and hold it to dry for a moment. To cool, not dry, sorry. All right, so I had the rocks. You could get rocks outside for free. I don't know if you knew that. They're out there. Dig around in the streams and the dirt. You'll find those. Hose them off. Or buy some, like somebody bought me that box. I think it was my wife or somebody. And then get some of this $1.25 reindeer moss and a stick and a piece of board game base, a little bit of paint, and in less than about 20 minutes probably, or maybe we're right at 20 minutes. I'm not sure. You can have a pretty decent looking tree for D&D. I would not use this to put miniatures on. Not for, I wouldn't. But you could. But scale-wise, there you go. It's it's a little bit over a 20-foot tree. And you can make a bunch of them quick. So, like I said, I know I've made trees and done this before. But I thought it would be fun to see. When I saw the bag of reindeer moss for $1.25, I was like, I don't know how much I like that color. It's a little teal. But I think you can make some really easy trees. And lo and behold, the crafting lords have given us the opportunity to make a really pretty tree there for no bucks. And it looks okay. It looks semi-realistic. And guess what? With that paint job, you pull it off nice. You could go to the next level. You could get a little more, you can get a little PBA on there, or, like Elmer's. And put some green flock on there. Since it's not, it's not quite 20 minutes. All right, check this out. Where's that flock? Oh, flock, where are you? I've lost my flock. Well, then I guess we can't, because I can't find my good flock. Good flock, where are you? Yeah, no good flock. Sorry, guys. My good flock's missing, or I would put some on there for you. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and all that stuff. And in a few minutes, after I finish another beverage and get my stuff together, we're going to make something for today's video. So we'll see you next time.